Welcome to More Than Words, a podcast about treating the whole child, brought to you by the Reading and Language Learning Center. I'm your host, Tristan, and today I'm joined by Ashlee to discuss what it's like to have dyslexia. Hi, Ashlee. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Let's start off with having you talk about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
So I'm a junior in high school.
Yeah.
And I am 16. So I do kind of just homework.
Yeah, that is what I did when I was 16 too. Mainly homework, a lot of it too. So you said you're 16, you're junior in high school. Take me back to when you found out that you had dyslexia, because I'm sure it was a little while ago.
So it was kind of around first grade that I found out. Well, I kind of realized that I had dyslexia.
Yeah.
Which it was weird because the first memory that I could think of about it was kind of me being in class and not being able to read an essay that we had to read out loud. So I had to ask one of my friends to read it for me, which it was like, why can't I read this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was like pretty frustrating for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very competitive, so it was kind of hard being behind everyone else in reading. And I was just like, why can everyone else read and I can't? Why is everyone else reading these big books? And I'm just like, I just can't read these.
Right. Did you ever decide to get reading support for that?
Yes. When I talked to my parents, they decided that I should get some support. And it was a little hard because I had to leave class and just go talk to someone, and they'd make me read books, and I do this all the time and over again, and it was like, why do I keep reading this thing that I know have already read already? It was just like, why? So yeah.
But would you say so? Well, I guess I should ask you this. Did you start getting support in first grade when you found out, or was it a little later?
It was in first grade.
Okay. And did it end up helping at all?
It really did. I think it really did help. I am in AP English, so
wow.
It definitely, if I didn't take the help, I definitely wouldn't be in AP English.
Right. Yeah. Wow. I would say it's helped you a lot.
Yeah.
AP English is hard. You have a lot of books to read and a lot to annotate and analyze and just so much content to get through. So props to you. So when you tell your teachers, hi, I have dyslexia, I may need some help in XYZ, how do they respond?
It was different for each teacher, but they responded very openly.
Okay.
And they were very supportive, and they were like, it's okay, I'll help you with it.
That's awesome.
Some better than other teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them were a little okay, what do you want me to do about that?
Oh.
So, yeah, that was different.
Yeah. So you really had to advocate for yourself. I mean, telling your teachers in the first place you had dyslexia was advocating for yourself. But when someone would say to you, I don't know what I could what to do with that information, what would you say in response?
I had to kind of explain what dyslexia was, which they knew, but they didn't really get how it felt because they didn't really have dyslexia.
Right.
So it was interesting for me because I never actually properly advocated for myself before that point. And they kind of took it as, okay, I can help after I explained it.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you did get the help. I'm sad that they didn't know how to help you. So I'm glad we're doing this podcast for Dyslexia Awareness Month. Now people will know a little bit better, at least.
Yeah.
So can you give some examples of how your dyslexia may have impacted like math, English, learning a foreign language, any other subjects that you had to do in school?
So when I was like little, I used to know Spanish because I take Spanish now.
Yeah.
I was pretty much fluent in Spanish when I was younger.
Wow.
But unfortunately now I am not.
Oh.
And I forget everything that I have learned from when I was younger. So I am in a lower Spanish now, which if I knew what I knew back then, I'd probably be in what we have is Spanish like 3, which is technically AP Spanish.
Okay.
So I think I'd probably be there instead of where I am now. So it's definitely impacted learning languages. Yeah. It's been hard because I've learned like 3 languages and I can't remember them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you've even learned 3 is impressive.
Yeah. Learning them was definitely the hard part.
Yeah.
But remembering them now is just extremely hard because I can't remember anything.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, learning English, I think, is really difficult because, especially for someone who's learning it as their second language, because it's a very confusing language. So I can't even imagine like trying to learn another language. I mean, I did through high school and college, but still it's difficult. So I can't fathom learning 3. Wow. So now you're in high school, you're a junior. What are some of the things that you do that you've learned are like what help you succeed?
I am a little like creative, so
okay.
And I am very visual, so whenever I do things like flashcards, I will draw something on them to remember, which really helps me. And whenever I take the test, I'll just think of the drawing and I can really visualize the drawing in my head. Right. Or like when I build, because I love building and I love building Legos.
Ooh, yeah.
So before I even start building the Lego, I will visualize it and I can see how it's going to be planned out. And a 1,000-piece Lego will only take like a day or like half a day. It won't take me that long to build.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a really fantastic skill to have. Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't know how to visualize something as a whole. So that's a really good, I don't know how else to say it, a really good skill, a really good quality to have going forward. Because now you can look at big picture items and then you know how to break it down. You have a better understanding of things. That's awesome. So your Legos, tell me about the Legos. I've never done 1,000-piece Lego before in my life.
It's a lot of time and a lot of separating of the pieces because I just do it like I'm also really organized. So I like to have the separation of the pieces. Yeah. I don't like clumping them all together is not it's not going to keep me on track.
Right.
To what I'm doing. So I will break them up before I actually build it.
Right.
And then I will based off of the pack that I use, I will just build the whole thing in a night and I'll sit there for hours and I'll have my headphones on. I'll be listening to something and I will be just building and someone will be like, Ashlee, you should probably eat. And I'll be like, but I gotta finish this. So it'll take a long time.
Yeah. Very driven, very focused.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That sounds like a lot of fun. I can't, like I said, I've never built 1,000-piece Lego before, but Lego structure, I should say, but they look very cool. So I'm impressed. So let's take it back to school. When you're at school, and like you said before, there are some teachers who maybe don't know how to help you with dyslexia. So what do you wish they had known or still know about dyslexia as a whole?
I wish they would kind of know that you can't get over it. It's not something that like just goes away with time or anything. Like it's there forever.
Right.
And you just have to like kind of develop it to a point where it's not as bad, but it'll always be there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's good advice. I think a lot of people don't know that. So it's good information to share. So after school activities, I think, so we talked about Legos and you said you're creative. The other thing that I wanted to ask you was, do you play any sports?
I play 2 sports.
Ooh.
I play lacrosse and basketball.
Nice.
Lacrosse is my main sport, so I play goalie.
Oh, wow. Important role.
Yeah. So that is fun.
Yeah. And what's your position in basketball normally?
I'm usually like a guard, but okay. I mean, I hop around.
Yeah. I feel like basketball, it's easier to hop around in positions, but being goalie for lacrosse, like you are very important. You will have that role. That's really cool. And I mean, has your dyslexia ever impacted you like on the field or on the court or anything in that regard?
Definitely on the field. I have definitely had moments where I'll be at practice and one of the main roles I have to do is I have to call out the position of the ball. So I'll be like, the ball's left. And then I'll be like, wait, is that actually my left? And I have to think about it.
Right.
Which hand do I write with? Because I'm a lefty, but I play lacrosse with my right hand.
Oh.
So it confuses me when I call out the ball and it's on the left side, but I'm like, is this actually my left side? I don't actually know.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really confusing.
Yeah. Wow. I took one lacrosse summer camp and I'm not good at sports. Like, let's just put that out there. I'm not good at sports. But when I tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? When you, with your stick, it's kind of like dribbling in basketball.
Cradle.
Would you say cradle?
Yeah.
Yes. When I was cradling the stick, it was always left and I'm a right-handed person. And so I was like, am I doing this right? I was like, is this what I would be in sports or do I just not know how to play? So I can't imagine how confusing that must have been. So props to you for being a great goalie and knowing how to call all the things. So last couple of questions. First, foremost, we often hear people say dyslexia is my superpower. So how would you say that dyslexia is your superpower?
I would say, again, I can see things visually in my head, which is great when I need to like think of an equation and it's like, what's the square root of something? And I'm like, well, yeah, I can see a square in my head. Wow. Or if it's like, I'm very observant, the smallest details, like I could see and I'll just, I could tell you at random times, it'll be a random detail though. So it won't be like the thing that I'm actually supposed to be focusing on. And I think it's probably just seeing the bigger picture. Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Being, like I said, seeing the bigger picture is so important as you like get older. And you said that you're a very creative person and you mentioned drawing on like flashcards and stuff. Yeah. So you like to draw?
Yes, I do draw a lot. And well, for like in my free time, I'll draw. And it really helps for doing work, but it's also just like something I love to do.
Yeah.
So I'll do it on the side, and I've done like digital art, and I've done like painting and sketches. So I have tons of sketchbooks all around my room, and I'll like pull one out and I'll be like, oh, this, I still have more pages, so I gotta fill them in somehow. And then my parents have lots of art that I've done. And
Wow.
yeah.
That's really cool. And do you think that being able to visualize something in your head and then put it on, like, do you think having the whole like bigger picture kind of frame of mind helps you with drawing?
Yes, it definitely does, because I will look at like, well, I know what I'm gonna draw. But sometimes it's hard to put it on paper.
Yeah.
But I like, I can see it. I can really see it. Right. And I'll see the colors and what I want to use and like the texture. And it's great because all my drawings are like that. Like I can, like whatever I visualize in my head will just come out on paper.
Wow. That's really cool. I wish I had that talent. And my last question for you is just, what does dyslexia mean to you personally?
Dyslexia means like kind of difficulty, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, but at the same time, I think it's great because I can do some things that other people can't do.
Right.
But at like some points and some days, I'm like, dyslexia is just, it's kind of, it's hurting what I want to like accomplish in life.
Yeah, I understand that. And what do you think you want? I said it was my last question, but I lied. What do you think you want to do, like, when you grow up? I always say that I'm like a grown up. I say that to my husband all the time. I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an animator.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think you could totally do it. I feel like it'll be easy for you. You just said you could just make anything that happens in your brain appear on paper. So
yeah,
I think you're going to do great. Have you thought about what kind of animation, like who you would be interested in working for?
Well, I always love like Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Is, Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. I like watch those shows every day when I come home. And they are my favorites. I also love like anime, which I also watch, and its art style is just beautiful. So I really want to do that. So both, I mean, but anime, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I hope to see some of your work at some point, maybe in, anime or Warner Brothers, anywhere it appears. So you'll have to keep us posted.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. This was so much fun. And thanks for sharing your, just how your experience with dyslexia, because it's different for everyone. And it's always nice for other people to get to hear different views. I know you're going to help someone just by having been on this podcast. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you to the audience for listening. Make sure to leave us a little rating and review, as it helps other folks just like you find the podcast. And don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.